Well, you know what that means.
Hey.
We just popped up on the screen. Hey, it's SEC After Dark. Stephen Willis, Jeb Beecham, Jake Thomas. The number one Tigers fan in all of the land. We are SEC After Dark on the Bleav Network, on y'all's conference network, presented by betonline.ag, and also Row One brand. Find your vintage watches. So, how you boys doing tonight?
Yeah, pretty good, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're sitting here pondering Big Three coaches and Jalen Carter's terrible, awful, no good, rotten day.
Yes, we are.
And March Madness, baby. It's March Madness. Well, for some of us at least.
Well, it's March Madness for Georgia in the transfer portal.
It's March Madness for Ole Miss because Chris Beard.
Yeah.
Chris Beard, fear the beard. So, speaking of March Madness, BetOnline remains to be your number one source for all college basketball betting this season. Get analysis of every play, prop, point at BetOnline. You'll find the latest odds, brackets, contests, team matchups, and game trends at BetOnline. Updated odds from everything from live games to conference championships, right on through to the Final Four and the national championship. BetOnline is your number one college basketball headquarters this season. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to sign up. Receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Be sure to use our promo code Bleav, that's BLEAV, to receive your welcome bonus. BetOnline.ag, it's where the game starts.
I wonder what the odds are on Tennessee getting out of the first round. But they're not good. But
who y'all got?
I have to look that up. We have Louisiana.
Oh, yeah, y'all good.
You know, Arkansas is playing their biggest rival in the NCAA tournament.
Oh.
Wait, who's Arkansas playing?
They got a game with Colgate.
Yeah.
Colgate.
Yeah. Hey,
I just got that. I just got that. I'm like,
that's pretty good.
Oh boy, oh boy. You can't get those jokes anywhere, guys. You just can't.
Hey, Jeb. I'll just go ahead and tell you. In my bracket, I have the matchup between Kentucky and Tennessee.
Oh wow, really?
I think it's the Elite Eight, maybe the Sweet 16, one of the two. So
we'll
see how it goes.
So,
yeah, let's see how it goes.
I don't have either one of them making it that far, so.
I got ballsy.
I think I had Alabama in the Bleav pool, going all the way. Yeah.
No, I picked the number one seed. That's gutsy, Corey.
It is very gutsy. I went all chalk because you know how much basketball I watched.
Well, I took Houston, I think, but I have Alabama at least in the Elite Eight. So
we just got to make the Final Four. We just got to make the Final Four so we can be crowned a blue blood according to Auburn. So
there you go.
Auburn can't talk about blue bloods in basketball. I'm sorry.
Oh, they do.
They're nouveau rich at best.
I know it. Yeah,
they're everything.
It wasn't long ago that Marshall Henderson was popping his jersey and like a Auburn judge was getting into his face and all of that. It wasn't long ago that was happening.
Right. Exactly.
From our Facebook user, real quick, we have a question. It says, "I'll start this off. Is the biggest overall hire in Ole Miss history statistically in Chris Beard?" And yes, it is.
Yeah, I would say so.
It's statistically the best hire that Ole Miss has ever made for a coach in any sport. Ole Miss
national runner-up,
yeah. Ole Miss legitimately hired one of the three best basketball coaches in college basketball.
What's up, John? Yeah.
So yeah, that's not even close.
Yeah, basketball wise, man, I think that's a home run, man. I mean, we talked about it last episode. I mean, we had to play devil's advocate just so we can make for a good discussion. But honestly, this is a great hire, and Ole Miss should be excited. And that comment, Ole Miss now has two elite coaches. Neither of them coach football. Pretty true.
It's true. Michael's a little bit upset about the Auburn situation. He hasn't quite let that go yet. But I don't blame him. Good for you, Michael. Keep it going.
I know somebody who has some advice for that, Steve.
What's that?
Letting things go. Her name is Elsa.
Oh, let it go.
Let it go.
How old's Huck? Is he at that age?
7.
Yeah, okay.
He's that age. Yeah, 7. No worries. I do have a 7-year-old. He has attempted to watch Frozen.
Attempted.
Yeah. If it's not Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, it's not really for him.
Surprisingly, the Frozen ride at Epcot, not bad. As far as Epcot rides go, not bad.
Mm-hmm. You're going to have to fill us in on that, Steve.
It has a little drop designed to scare 6-year-olds. It's pretty awesome. I like it.
All right.
And it's not it's not like it's a small world, but let it go. It's not that. It's just a water boat ride with a drop. It's pretty good.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Did it scare 166-year-old Stephen Willis though?
Oh yeah.
It skipped his pacemaker.
Yeah. No, Jeb has the pacemaker.
Oh wow! Did not know that.
Yeah. Defibrillator they implanted.
John is not looking forward to, well, didn't he get suspended?
He got hired and then they was like, okay, here's your 5-game suspension.
Yeah.
Congratulations. They self-imposed it because they just assumed he's going to be suspended by the NCAA and they're trying to get ahead of it.
Yep.
Oh boy. Yeah, McNeese State would get suspended by the NCAA. Georgia, not so much.
Yeah. They're like, all right, he signed the dotted line. There's like, here's your money. Here's your 5-game suspension.
Yes, Brian Berg is coming with beard. And also, somebody texted me. I don't know if it's factual. We're going to wait for the Zenit's bomb or whatever to come out. But Al Pinkins, they said he had signed as well. So I imagine those are the 2 assistants that are going to be involved. And the third one, I'm thinking Win Case or the kid from Angelo State. I'm not sure of his name, but it's coming together really quick.
Yeah, I mean, it's all happening very, very fast. So this is, like I said, this for Ole Miss basketball, this is exciting stuff. So, and Steve, you dropped a few bombs in the, you hit some dingers in the subtext there.
What's that?
The Al Pinkins thing.
Oh yeah. Somebody just let me know that. Whenever I get information like that, I'll drop something on here every now and then. I'm not really in the news business, that I don't really care. But if I get something that's worthwhile, juicy, rumorish, I will put it in the subtext. Go to my Twitter profile at the Stephen Willis. The link's there. You can sign up if you're interested. And you'll have the links to all that. We're going to have unlisted shows, mailbags, and all that are going to come from the subtext community. So that's the plan moving forward. But nothing's going to change currently of like what the Locked On Ole Miss podcast is.
Nice. And Steve's about to make an appearance before we get into our main topic here. Steve's about to make an appearance on the Locked On Tigers podcast as a lifelong Tigers fan for 2 weeks.
For like 10 days I've been a lifelong Detroit Tigers podcast, and I've got the shirt here. And Chauncey said Neil said it's today on Oxford Exxon this morning. It probably could. That rumor's been going around all over the place. The text that I got, it was just that the contract had been signed. I don't know if it's factual or not, but that's just what I had.
Oxford Exxon, what is that? Is that like a?
I think that's a convenience store, but like the rival site just named their podcast after the convenience store.
I was going to say, I know a convenience store up here named is Exxon. Yeah. I was like, wait, okay.
Yeah.
We got a podcast inside of Exxon gas station.
Yeah.
It's sponsored by Exxon. And it looks like a dump on the outside, but you walk in and there's like this fancy studio.
Now the Oxford Exxon, by the way, that is owned, I think, by Craddock Oil, who is a big supporter of Ole Miss athletics. Like Craddock Court is the pavilion court. It's named Craddock Court. It's for him. So yeah, they do a lot of stuff in and around Ole Miss athletics.
So this is a good subtopic here. Carter is the best AD in the SEC, maybe the country other than Maryland. I don't know, that guy over there at Georgia's pretty good.
The guy at Alabama's pretty good.
Yeah. Is it Kevin Byrne? Is that who it is?
Greg Byrne.
Who's Kevin? Whoever Kevin Byrne is, I'm sure he's pretty good at his job.
Oh, you're talking about athletic directors?
Yeah.
You also Mike White's brother, Danny White at Tennessee is pretty good as well. Yeah,
he's really good.
He's done good so far.
All 4 of us has got good ADs lead the programs. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think Josh Brooks' time will tell that he made the right hire in basketball. Scott Strickland's turning it around in baseball, so he showed some patience and restraint there because he probably could have fired him 2 years ago when we were in the cellar the bottom of the barrel, like below the bottom of the barrel. So facility upgrades are massive, although this whole Stegman Coliseum thing is not the greatest.
I love the Stegosaurus name, though. I love it.
Yeah. I mean, it literally looks like a Stegosaurus. I mean, it's uncanny. Like it's shaped like a dinosaur, and it has the scale look. I mean, it kind of looks like an actual dinosaur.
Yeah. You know, Keith Carter is an AD. He's gotten to the point where he's made this Lane Kiffin hire, the Chris Beard hire, and the decision not to run off Mike Bianco. That cannot be overlooked because there was a small cabal in Oxford, Mississippi that was doing everything they can to get rid of Mike Bianco for multiple years. And his ability to withstand that and keep him got Ole Miss a national championship in baseball. Honestly, Ole Miss is at the point where the big three coaches in the SEC, I don't know if I would trade for any other big three in the SEC. Lane Kiffin, Chris Beard, and Mike Bianco, I just don't think I would make that change.
Well, let's run down the list. Tennessee, Josh Heupel, Rick Barnes, Tony Vitello.
Yeah, we're all great.
Yeah, very great.
But Rick Barnes is probably close to retirement. Tony Vitello is really good. Josh Heupel's new, but I mean, kind of like Lane Kiffin, he's got a lot of potential. He's doing really well, but hasn't actually hit the top yet.
You have some potential there with your big three. I don't know what's going to happen with basketball when Barnes retires, and
I'm afraid we might have hit our peak with basketball and are going to start slowly, depending on who the next hire is.
Yeah, somebody just said, by the way, my source on there came back. It's double source now. Al Pinkins has been hired. So
nice.
So that just came. Look at that. Like, who is that? Who is the guy? Yeah. I need like 6 phones over here. I'm doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're Schefter.
The feud between Schefter and Aaron Rodgers Day on Twitter was pretty fun to watch too.
Yeah. It was lose my number. Nice try though.
Does Aaron Rodgers have a Canadian area code?
I don't know.
Probably
though. Yeah.
He probably did some ayahuasca and went to Canada and bought himself a mobile phone. So okay, Alabama. Nick Saban, I guess. Some guy. Nate Oates, and who's the baseball coach?
Brian Bohannon.
Brad Bohannon.
Brad Bohannon, baseball super fan. Jake Thomas over here. Everybody.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Brian Bohannon is the head coach at Kennesaw State.
Yeah, I've heard that name.
Brad Bohannon, but the thing about Brad Bohannon is he took over the program like 7 years ago now, I think. And the year before he took over, they only won 9 games. So he slowly built it up. So
very slowly.
Very slowly. But when you win 9 games, you can only go up. So and I mean, and SEC in baseball, as we all know, is loaded. Mm-hmm. So it's a slow process, but he's getting there.
Yeah, you could have a really good team and win 12 at conference games in this league. Period.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep, absolutely.
You could go win the ACC and finish bottom of the pack in the SEC.
Mm-hmm.
But here's my comparison with Alabama. Between Ole Miss and Alabama, Lane Kiffin, Sugar Bowl coach on the cusp of the playoff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Chris Beard, national championship game with a shot of beating the Virginia Cavaliers for the national title. Mike Bianco, national championship winning coach. Alabama, Nick Saban, GOAT. Nobody's going to argue that. Period. Mm-hmm. Nate Oates. Right now, he's predicted he's the number 1 seed in the NCAA tournament, but he hasn't done it yet. If he were to lose in the second round and get upset, all of a sudden, people were like, was this year kind of a fluke? Was it Brandon Miller? What was going on? And Brad Bohannon, not quite there. Mm-hmm. So that kind of brings down the average a little bit. So I would not trade Ole Miss's 3 for Alabama's 3, even with Nick Saban.
Well, let's say Nate Oates does run the table as the number 1 overall seed. Does that change things?
It gets it closer. But
if he runs a table, then we're gonna have a lot of blue bloods calling for him. Probably that's what I'm worried about.
Well, if he wins it, you've got a national championship winning football coach, like the greatest of all time. You've got a national championship winning basketball coach, and then you've got a mid-tier baseball program.
Right now, yep.
I mean, so the Ole Miss would be like just a little bit below basketball-wise of ceiling, a little bit below football-wise. Of course, that's the GOAT. That's expected. But they're ahead significantly on the baseball end. So I don't know if I would change even if that happened. Although I would, yeah. I do think Alabama's going to go far. And if you ask me what's going to happen, I think Alabama might win the national championship. It would be funny, though, if Texas won the national championship. But I don't know if we could be that lucky that happened.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But, you look at Georgia's big three, and, Mike White did an admirable job this year with the absolute – and this is putting it mildly and kindly, the dumpster fire that he inherited.
Yeah.
The basketball program that Tom Crean and, Mark Fox in his last 3 seasons, and then the 4-year Tom Crean era. So the last 7 years were an utter disaster outside of one Anthony Edwards.
And Mark Fox has already been fired again.
Yeah, he got fired at Cal.
Real quick, we got a question. Will Keith Carter be signed up? Will other schools want Keith Carter? Absolutely. Everybody needs to be making mental preparations to retain Keith Carter because he is about to Danny White and just blow up nationally, especially if Chris Beard starts winning games.
Yeah, yes. He'll be heavily sought after, but I think Ole Miss has the money to retain him, so I don't think that's the problem. It's just a matter of, does he like Oxford enough? Does he like being in the conference enough? Which, I mean, you're in the top conference in the country for all sports now.
I don't think Keith Carter will leave without saving his beloved basketball program. And I think it means more to Keith Carter than any of us knew, the basketball program at Ole Miss. And I think the last couple of years have really kind of hurt his pride and his ego. And he wants that fixed before anything can happen. And Chris Beard is never his first year, his least wins is 18. He's won 18, 22, and 30 in his first year at schools. So there's a chance that Ole Miss on Selection Sunday is heavily in the conversation next year.
That would be Coach of the Year type material if that were the case, because Ole Miss was. I mean, Georgia was bad too. Don't get me wrong, but Ole Miss was bad.
Yeah. Ole Miss was really bad until they got rid of Kermit. It's weird.
No.
After they got rid of Kermit, their offense started getting better. They started shooting better. I think they were 2-2 in their last 4, and they were decent. But before Kermit, it was problematic at best.
They figured out how to play some basketball, I guess, right?
Mm-hmm. Cassidy said hi. She became a lifelong Georgia Bulldogs fan a couple of weeks ago, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, she went all in on the Dogs.
Mm-hmm. I'm pretty excited about my little talk with the Locked On Tigers people because he's going to educate me on everything I need to know about the Detroit Tigers.
Now, is this on the show or off the show?
This is going to be on mine. I'm going to do an extra video on my channel.
Oh,
and we're going to do like a crossover and put it up because I have a singular video that was an extra video that was done on my channel that was basically how Ole Miss baseball reignited my love for Major League Baseball and led me to the Detroit Tigers.
You better have given me credit for that one.
Huh?
I said that to you in a tweet.
Well, yeah, but
did I get credit for it? No,
you don't get credit for it. There's only 100 characters allowed. Per Corey Burton, that would use like 20 characters.
Oh man.
John's wanting to know what's going on with Jalen Carter.
Oh boy. Okay, so you want to buckle up here? Okay. All right. This is the Bleav In Dogs portion of the show. Catch me on Bleav In Georgia Dawgs. We are officially on spring break this week, Israel and I. So I've put out some like old archive shows. I did a little like 7-minute monologue on spring practice day 1 yesterday and put up an old interview with Richard Samuel from when I first started this thing. So Go and check that one out. At least 600 of you already have, so go check this out. All right. But yeah, the Jalen Carter situation, man, it's obvious that this thing is putting a lot of stress on him. It's obvious this thing is a distraction. He came in 10 pounds heavier than when he was at the combine. He was not in shape. He couldn't finish the position drills, didn't do any of the testing. So it's not a good look. And the GM of the Bears, Ryan Poles, was there in person to kind of kick the tires on Jalen Carter because he was already going to fall. And as you know, the Chicago Bears traded down. So they're like, okay, well, maybe we can still get this guy who was projected number 1 overall before all this mess happened at number 9. And we can still get our guy. Yeah, they could trade back as many times as they want to.
Yeah.
This is not good. This was his chance to be like, okay, all that crap is behind me, but it's obviously not. And he had an awful, awful pro day.
NIL.
Really?
Yeah.
Yep. Wouldn't run the 40. Wouldn't do any of the tests. I don't think he even interviewed. I don't think he did anything. Couldn't finish the drills. Looked lazy. Looked half-assed. It just wasn't good.
So USFL All Pro arriving.
No, XFL. He's perfect fit for the what was it? The DC Defenders.
Defenders, yeah. Orlando
Greg
Guardians.
Williams. Yeah, Greg Williams is defense coordinator in DC, so he'd fit perfectly there.
Y'all made Jake leave.
That's because I think he was having some technical problems, but.
Jake was so fed up with Jalen Carter.
Seriously.
I guess he's a Bears fan.
No, hey, I'm back. I could not hear you, Corey, at all. I could not hear Jeb. I only heard Steve, so I had to back out and come back in.
Well, yeah,
I'd leave too if I could only hear Steve.
Yeah, as I hear from my wife all the time, that's apparently a problem.
Oh, jeez.
But
But
that does bring up some interesting questions, though, about the whole draft process, because I've always thought sometimes like the combine and stuff's overblown. Obviously, in this situation, that's bad. And I understand him dropping because of that. But somebody who had the production he had in college, is that bad enough to not get drafted? I mean, that's
he won't fall out of the draft. I think he may. I mean, there's a chance with this terrible showing that these GMs are like, I don't know about this guy, like character-wise. Like there's some red flags there now.
Yeah.
That are starting to pop up, which I guess Todd McShay talking about his character issues. He was either prophetic or just got lucky, but now a bunch of red flags are starting to pop up, and this draft process that's what it's meant for. And
I mean, it obviously didn't hurt him in college, these kind of issues. So
he didn't have. I mean, it wasn't until just now that he had these issues, or at least he didn't get caught doing anything anything illegal. But like this whole situation, that one choice, yeah. He just saw one too many Fast and Furious movies. That was the problem. But no, just this one issue started snowballing and compounding into a lot of things. And
people died.
Exactly.
Yeah.
and then stuff that's unfolding from that, like he fled the scene allegedly. I gotta say allegedly fled the scene, came back, allegedly lied about his participation in the whole thing, about the racing stuff. I mean, just there's some things that need to be sorted out in the court of law.
Honestly, I don't know if you can take Jalen Carter on day 1 or 2. I think he has to be a day 3 guy now.
I mean, you may be right, but there's some GM out there that'll be like, okay, second round money, it's only 3 years guaranteed. Not much. The investment goes way down after you get out of the first round. So I mean, I think worst case scenario, he falls into the second round. I mean, the guy's too productive, too talented. I think somebody's going to take a chance on him. I mean, they took a chance on Jefferson.
They say it just needs more. I mean, it just needs one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who knows? I mean, there's no telling. The draft is going to be very, very interesting.
We got some questions in the chat asking. Person thinks that Dart will beat out Spencer Sanders. Will Spencer Sanders transfer? Can he? Auburn. Will he transfer? Well, let's say Dart wins the job. I do think Spencer Sanders transfers, and even though he's already transferred, I don't think the NCAA is going to stop him.
Chauncey, you're exactly right. Yes, the Ravens.
And Auburn, who knows? I mean, I don't think he can go to Auburn because you can't transfer before February 1st to another SEC school, so he'd have to leave the school conference.
Yeah.
So, Cassidy Thomas, Jake's woman, says, so Carson Beck will be the quarterback? Yeah.
Well, I mean, hey, you know, the quarterback competition is underway. It's a battle between Gunnar Stockton, Brock Vandegrift, and Carson Beck. They're saying Brock Vandegrift added about 15, 20 pounds of muscle, and is a much better athlete than Carson Beck. So, and they all can throw. They all have rifles attached to their body. So I don't know. This quarterback competition, I said it yesterday, and Israel and I have said it all along. It's going to come down to who has command of that huddle. I mean, it comes down to who can they trust. Yeah, Mike Bobo's the offensive coordinator. We huddle. Yeah. It happens. I presume you don't know what huddles are.
The funny thing,
I think they were phased out of the game.
Arch Manning,
kind of like the fullback.
Arch Manning decided to ask his grandfather, "Is like, what kind of quarterbacking advice can you give me?" I guess because his grandfather's Archie Manning, and Archie Manning said the first thing you need to do is take charge of your huddle. You need to look them in the eye and do whatever you need to do and take charge of the huddle. And Arch was like, "We don't huddle," and so
I'm screwed.
We don't huddle. So
yeah,
but whoever takes command of the offense, whoever can build the best rapport with the wide receivers, especially the new transfers, Ra Thomas, who seems to be clear of all his mess, and Dominic Lovett.
And Cassidy also asked, what happened with Ole Miss baseball getting beat by JSU? And nothing. It was a midweek game to where the normal midweek starting pitcher is pitching this weekend against Vanderbilt, and it just, I don't want to say it doesn't matter, but it means about as little as it possibly can and still means something.
Let me go off on that a little bit. Be more concerned about Alabama losing 2 out of 3 to Columbia this past weekend and getting embarrassed in both of those 2 losses. That's more concerning. One game was like 15-2, and the other one was like 17-5 or 17-6, something like that.
Wait, are you talking about the Ivy League school?
Yeah.
Okay.
Columbia. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it wasn't a good weekend.
Ivy League, it just means more.
Apparently.
Isn't that the school that Meadow Soprano got into?
No, she got into NYU.
NYU, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was before she started dating Turtle. Crossover.
Chauncey says it means nothing, and we can cancel midweeks at the end of the year and still get into the tournament. That's absolutely correct. I tell people all the time when that tries to talk noise about midweek games, we saw last year exactly how much midweek games mean.
Mm-hmm. It just means that one of your pitchers that doesn't start on the weekend gets to start in the midweek and get some experience, and that's really all that matters.
Yeah, John, we always go off the rails.
Yeah, Chauncey's like she wanted into Columbia, and that I think that is correct.
Yeah,
and maybe Tony tried to pull some strings to make that happen, was unable to do it. I'm not sure about.
He probably wanted to keep her at NYU, so probably wanted to keep her close.
Well, Columbia's in New York. It'd been the city.
It's in Manhattan, I think, right?
Yeah.
Well, maybe
I applied for a running back
Lower
coach job
Manhattan?
there at Columbia one time.
Really?
I didn't get an interview, but I applied.
Yeah.
I think a surefire fit.
I think I applied to replace Billy Brewer in like 1994 whenever they hired Tommy Tuberville. Yeah, I didn't get a call back either. Of course, I was like 18 years old.
Hey, go big or go home.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
All they can do is say no, and that's the answer you had before you called.
Yeah, that's right. I also applied to be the tight ends coach at Colgate a few years back.
Colgate.
I would go on NCAA.com and just apply for random, like mid-major, assistant jobs, just to see if anything stuck.
Yeah.
Obviously, nothing did.
Steve, you got an interesting question there in the comments. We'll answer that when you.
Where is
what
it?
You think?
Quinshon Judkins.
Yeah, which running back is he comparable to? From Alabama's running backs.
TJ Yeldon.
That's a good one.
Yeah, it's TJ Yeldon. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I said that while he was being recruited. Whenever they were trying to get a comp, that's the one I automatically went to. Yeah, Quinshon, real similar to TJ Yeldon.
I agree, 100%.
That's a great one.
Yeah,
that is a great one. So, if you haven't listened, John, we go off the rails usually at the beginning.
we do our ad reads and then it's just
there.
Oh,
Saints picked up Jamal Williams. I like that pickup.
They also got Carr.
Oh, that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, everybody knows. I think on this show I've made my feelings about the Saints known. I cannot go through what they did in the 80s. I cannot do that again. I'm being honest and transparent about that. So if they need to get their stuff together, because if they're going to pull off like several 3-13s in a row or 3-14s, they're not going to be doing it with me watching.
Well, if they do this year, Dennis Allen is fired because they got Derek Carr. They retained Michael Thomas, which if he stays healthy, you know what kind of player he is. They have Chris Olave. And John, this is a question for you, my friend. Rashid Shaheed is like a special rookie down there. He was undrafted, got all the speed in the world. So, heck yeah.
If we're going to go NFL talk, I just want to know who's going to be blocking for Derrick Henry next year because, I mean, the Titans have no offensive line right now. They got rid of everybody.
What's the Detroit Lions' offensive line?
yeah, pretty much.
Hey, man, my offensive line is great, man.
Oh, hey, didn't the Atlanta Falcons hire Ryan Nielsen?
They did.
They did, yeah.
Have I told you my Ryan Nielsen story?
Is that the sack? Something?
The rush baby? Yes.
Rush baby.
Okay.
Okay. We'll do story time for people that's listening to the show a little bit. Whenever I was the video coordinator at Ole Miss, Ryan Nielsen was the defensive line coach under Coach O. That was the time period. And Coach O made us used to do a coach of the day, where after the film got watched by the team and they're getting ready to go out to practice, they'd put up a little still image of a Photoshop picture of the coach. We did Frank Wilson as Flavor Flav. We did Matt Lubick as Ace Ventura, that type stuff. Well, the most popular one that everybody loved and that caused Ryan Nielsen to actually come and try to fight me was me doing a Photoshop, including my wife, because she's the one that actually put it together, and it was freaking phenomenal, as Vanilla Ice. Ryan Nielsen as Vanilla Ice, and it put Rush Baby on it. And, if he ever saw me again, he would probably beat me within an inch of my life, because he's like 6'7", 300 pounds. He's a huge human being. There's no way I could win that. And he has a sincere hatred of yours truly. And I'd actually wear that as a badge of honor.
There you go.
Yeah, that story never gets old because it's hilarious how petty that was.
No, what is petty is after he threatened to fight me, I went through the cut-ups for the whole season after I left and just would randomly insert that into some cut-ups that had to be watched for teams throughout the season. That is the pettiness that I am willing to do. Yeah, I'm an extremely petty person.
Jeb, you want to answer that Facebook user's question?
What do you ask? Is your coach a $9 million coach, and can UT keep him from going to Oklahoma? Yes, and yes.
He would have already gone to Oklahoma.
Right.
Yes, exactly. And I think he's definitely a $9 million coach. He is. The turnaround he's done in Tennessee after the years of how bad they've been. I'm sorry. No, I'd give him whatever he asked for.
I think when he was an offensive coordinator, they had kind of a bad breakup too.
Yeah, and I have heard that. And we worried about Oklahoma in the offseason. We really did, because I understand why people think he might want to go there. But I'm with you. I think if he had interest, he'd have already shown it. And at this point, he's happy where he is, just seeing how things go. So, but that's my opinion. I don't know. And Jake, also to answer your question about what are the Titans going to do? I know they lost a starting tackle and a starting guard and their starting center. but I'm pretty sure they signed a utility guy from the 49ers that can play all three of those positions. So they're good. They got that dude.
They also
skill, maybe.
Yeah, we also lost Robert Woods too, though.
Oh well, yeah, he can't play wide
Did we
receiver.
really
That's
lose
true.
Robert Woods? I heard DJ Shark is on the
What?
table.
The way y'all are saying, have the Titans signed anybody?
They've lost everybody.
A few people, but it's been not anybody big. Arden Key, I think, is maybe their biggest signing so far.
Yeah.
And that's like 4.5 sack guy. You know, I mean, it's not huge.
You're signing Jacksonville Jaguars now, right?
Yeah, he was a Jaguar. Yes.
Yeah.
If we don't do something soon, we're going to be like third in division next year.
Oh, I think they're tanking for one of those big quarterbacks next year.
You probably.
I don't think they'll
right.
say that.
Complete. No, they're going to sign Lamar Jackson.
Well, that would be really
OBJ.
And also, the Panthers can just go piss up a rope. That's what they can do.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Bryce Young, and I love the quarterback from Ohio State, but doing that to Matt Corral after he got injured and had to, I mean, I can't be down with that. Even if I did a top 5 today of top 5 quarterbacks in Ole Miss history, and number 5 on that list was Matt Corral, and number 4 was Bo Wallace, and that has caused all kinds of problems on my timeline today. It's hilarious.
I read some of that interaction today.
That was a lot of fun. That was a get your popcorn ready type moment. But I mean, I mean, spoken like a true NFC South fan, we all hate the Panthers.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean,
and John's right too. At this point, Tennessee and Oklahoma will be in the same division. Tennessee will match any offer Oklahoma makes.
Yep.
I can't imagine there's a reason that Josh Heupel will leave unless things start going south of Tennessee. So,
in which case, Oklahoma. Yeah.
Derrick Henry's available. Well, I guess they did.
Yeah, he's about to get traded there, bro.
They talked about maybe trading him, but they've talked about Kevin Byard also. So
Derrick Henry
be good for everybody.
Yeah.
Well, it just feels like he's going to be the tailback for the Detroit Lions. It just feels like that for whatever reason.
For Henry's sake, I hope not. At this point, I'm not even mad at him if he leaves. I think he's given Tennessee a lot of great years. He's really, really good. He's still one of the best running backs in the league. He should go to a team where he has a chance to actually win something.
I agree.
Could you imagine him with Joe Burrow?
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they would kill everybody.
And didn't they cut Zeke today? I think they cut Zeke today.
Yeah,
they did.
Oh, did they actually cut him?
Eckler is requesting a trade. The Lions signed Dave Montgomery.
Yeah, I saw that. So
I'm telling you, the Lions and the Jaguars are about to be hell. They could be the team. They could be the team of the late 2020s. That they could be like meeting in multiple like Super Bowls. Seriously, the Lions and the Jaguars, and everybody's going to be like, "What is going on?" Because both of those teams are being built so well, and it's not like what was going on before there.
MCDC and Brad Holmes, man, they're a freaking dynamic duo. GM and head coach, man. I love it.
So here's the issue I have with what the Titans are doing right now. I mean, maybe they're trying to get better cap room or get younger. I don't know. But, I mean, you got a new stadium coming up in a couple of years, and you're fixing a tank now. When that new stadium opens up, you may be a 5 to 6, 7 win team. You really going to have fans in that new stadium by winning those, just 6, 7 games a year?
My guess is they're hoping if they have a high draft pick next year, they can get an exciting young rookie and get people excited about the future moving forward. If they go ahead and get rid of everybody now, they'll have money. They can sign some people. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It could be that good of planning, or it could be that they're just not very good at what they're doing right now. Honestly, with our history, I can't tell you.
I know exactly.
What's happening is they have a new GM, and he's looking at the roster, and it's like, what were they doing?
Yeah.
That's what's happening. Yeah.
Maybe. And I hope he fixes it, but I'm hoping it's not a thing where he just comes in, gets rid of everybody, thinks I'm going to build my own roster, and then he can't build a roster.
Why do we have 13 safeties?
And then
and we're trying to trot him out there at corner. No wonder we're getting beat.
Yeah. And then Mike Bravo is going to be the fall guy, unfortunately, because I really like him as a coach. But
yeah, I do too. I like him as a coach. Although in their defense, the defense has not been that bad. Like Arden Key got signed to replace Bud Dupree. Bud Dupree hasn't played because he was hurt.
In his defense, the defense has been stellar despite all the terrible signings that John Robinson had.
Exactly. What I'm saying, even this offseason, they're keeping that defense good. It's the offense I'm worried about. Because you can't even, the biggest weakness on defense is the cornerbacks, and you can't even really blame that on them. they have tried. They had a first-round pick, a second-round pick, and maybe 2 third-round picks. All in
none of them.
They're just not panning out. So
nope.
It was big that Simmons panned out.
Yeah.
I hated losing David Long.
Yeah, I did too.
That was a tough one.
They signed a pretty good linebacker from the 49ers, Aziz Al-Shir, I think, to come in and kind of take some of the brunt of that. But and David Long didn't play much last year either. Injuries were bad last year.
Yeah, kind of derailed us.
Yeah,
I think Vrabel's fine. I think he's well respected enough. People know what's going on there.
Yeah, I hope so.
I think they'll give him more chance than they would somebody else.
Yeah. But they got to do something about their offense, and their big problem is offensive coordinators. They keep promoting from within for people who just aren't very good.
And they're garbage.
Ever since what's his name Smith left to the Falcons, we just haven't.
Yeah,
we haven't been able to find somebody.
The Falcons got Jonnu.
I saw that.
Yeah, he's getting the band back together.
Yeah, he didn't pan out there to New England, but I'm hoping he does better.
He was terrible.
Baker's a new Shaquille O'Neal. He'll go to 25 teams.
Hey, Chauncey, it'll be on YouTube TV. YouTube TV has NFL Sunday Ticket.
YouTube TV.
They're supposed to be getting it next. We'll see.
Finally, it's going to be off of Direct TV. Yep, already got it. Sign it up. Let's roll. Let's ride. Let's do it.
That's right, Stephen. Now that
share that login there, bud.
Yeah, really.
Share it on the subtext so we can all watch it.
Don't share it with too many people, though.
Put it in the chat, Steve. So tell them what you'll get.
YouTube TV is only it's $70.
Well, YouTube TV is, for Sunday Ticket is going to be $300. I mean, it's going to be on top of whatever the YouTube TV price is. So
it's going to be 70 plus $300.
Yeah,
we should all throw in together and just get it.
Hey, I've got MLB TV because I'm in case anybody noticed, a lifelong Detroit Tigers fan. I've been so for 10 days.
I don't because I don't need it because the Braves are on just about every night.
Yeah,
not here.
The only one that's blacked out for me is the Rays, and I'm like, okay, who cares, you know?
Except when they play the Tigers.
Oh, but I can see that. I can go to Duke's or Beef O'Brady's and watch that real quick. Yeah.
But can you get the Tigers feed coming in?
Yeah, I think so. But we'll see what's going on.
It's going to be weird not hearing Chip Carey and Jeff Francoeur, which I think Francoeur is still sidekick, but it's going to be weird hearing this new guy.
John thought I had a waffle fry on my jersey. I like that, John.
That's good.
John, you never answered my Rashid Shaheed question. It's a legitimate question. How big of a factor is he going to be for the Saints as the third receiver?
He's not.
Did you not see that? You didn't watch any Saints games towards the end, did you?
No, it's not even about that. I am so anti Dennis Allen. I mean, tell. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Couldn't tell.
I saw a little meme a couple of days ago about when they signed Derek Carr. Derek Carr had like 25 touchdown passes last year, and then all three of the Saints quarterbacks put together all had 25 touchdown passes last year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just
just think about it. The best result, the roster they put together, the best result that they could think of was Andy Dalton at quarterback.
Lord.
Good Lord Almighty.
Like you couldn't. Yeah.
I mean, we're not. You don't need Nostradamus to find out what's going on.
And I mean, look at the SFL. Some of those quarterbacks. I mean, some of them are really daggone good. I mean, AJ Carey's playing out of his mind right now.
That Perez dude is balling out. I forget what team he plays for. I think he plays for Vegas, but I like that Perez guy.
They got a lot of good talent down there.
Obviously, because I don't know what team he plays for.
Yeah.
Facebook users asking about Davis Igminoson and how did Ole Miss even let him go? It didn't really matter when Chris Partridge left. He was one of those guys from the Northeast that was a Partridge guy, not an Ole Miss guy. Partridge is gone. There's no reason for him to stay around. He took off. Tysheem Johnson took off. You know, I'm not going to say addition by subtraction, but the buy-in for somebody like Pete Golding would obviously be more difficult for somebody that didn't necessarily want to be there and was only there for one person. So, I mean, we're going to be fine. Trey Washington, defensive backs galore. We're going to be fine.
defensive backs are dime a dozen. It happens, man. It's the portal. I mean, that's just the way life in college football is going to be now. You're going to lose 15% of your roster to the portal every year.
Yeah,
it just happens. I mean, and you're going to regain that 15% with new players. It's just going to be an in and out.
It does seem like that's about to be more normal. Yes,
it's going to be totally normal. It's going to be like free agency every single year. This is NFL light.
Mm.
I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it hadn't hurt the quality of the sport yet.
Chauncey, I'm gonna give them a chance. I am gonna give them a chance.
Yeah, I smell it, Cass.
Not with the Dolphins down there lurking with what they're doing.
I am a Tua guy. I've always been a Tua guy. I like Tua.
Mm-hmm. They signed Mike White though, QB1 baby.
Mike White's going to be the perfect backup after Tua gets his second and third concussion of 2023.
Yeah, I know.
When Tua has to unfortunately retire after week 5 because
they're talking about one of the rumors is Laramie Tunsil to the Chiefs.
I saw that.
Yeah, Chiefs need somebody pretty bad.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be
I've
surprised.
also heard Adam Thielen to the Chiefs.
And they just won the Super Bowl, and we're saying that they need somebody pretty bad.
Yeah,
I mean that's crazy.
Well, they lost Orlando Brown, but yes,
Yeah, that's true.
well, Patrick
Wiley, I think too.
Patrick Mahomes is essentially a flag football quarterback. I mean,
Right.
yeah, you need the right person. That's right.
It's just unfair.
Yeah. It
Oh
is.
my gosh.
I mean, how he can win a Super Bowl when Juju Smith-Schuster, Marquez Valding-Scantling as your top 2 receivers.
have they been demanded to go to the Jets yet?
Yeah.
MVS might. He played with Rodgers.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he might. They're bringing out Jordy Nelson out of retirement, Donald Driver out of retirement. Greg Jennings is coming back to play for the Jets. They're getting the entire band back together.
Well,
so you guys have a bracket made out? Alabama going to make the run?
I got 4.
I've got none. This is the first year I don't have one. I'm not going to do a bracket this year. I'm not going to do fantasy football. I'm not going to do any of the extra stuff that just kind of suck time away from actual things that I enjoy, whether on the football field, because I just enjoy watching the games. I don't need anything on the line for it to happen. So I'm going to try this year to see if that can help, because it got to the point last year where just playing fantasy football wasn't fun. And and I was like, okay, I just want to float around in my pool, watch the football games, and drink a beer. That's how I want to spend my Sundays. And then I'll
get on betonline.ag so it goes by a little faster.
Oh,
that's
latest
odds.
That's the thing. I don't want extracurriculars on my sports enjoyment. I just want to watch the game.
It's not that much. That's not just that much extra. But all right, you want to hear my bracket? I made some really gutsy picks.
All right, let's hear.
I've got all number 1 seeds in the Final Four.
Yeah, I figured that.
My gosh, Corey, did you just do like auto pick?
Pretty much.
No, I didn't. Well, I mean, basically.
Yes.
You know how much basketball I watched this year? I gave you that number earlier.
He did completely chalk, and then for some reason had Texas Southern in the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
See, I didn't do chalk. I had Tennessee going to the Sweet 16, unfortunately losing to Purdue.
Oh, wow, nice. You got to beat Duke.
Yeah.
All
my
right.
12-5s are Drake and VCU are my 12s, and my 5s are Duke and San Diego State. They always say pick the 12-5 game.
No.
I got Kentucky losing to Kansas State. I got Marquette going pretty far. I'm putting my money on Kansas to be the national runner-up.
Give me the 13 seeds, Corey. Give me the 13 seeds. I'm going to tell the upset to everybody that's listening before
I don't
this
want to hear
weekend.
these.
Okay, 13 seeds. Furman over Virginia. That's not going to happen.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Maryland,
Virginia.
Yeah. Maryland,
State,
Baltimore County.
Kent State versus Indiana.
Ooh, that's a potential. Kent State can be weird.
Not weird enough. All right, Iona versus UConn. Okay, I can. Yeah,
that Iona.
Rick Pitino.
Did he call some hookers before the game? That's a factor. And then you got Ooh La La against Jeb's team.
No. Tennessee defense travels. Tennessee will win the first round. They'll probably lose in either the Sweet 16 or the second round. That's my prediction.
I have them winning the first round and losing to Duke in the second round. So
yeah,
I haven't beaten Duke, losing to Purdue.
I have an upset on one of mine. I've actually got Memphis upsetting Purdue. Memphis is a pretty good team.
Yeah,
I did that and then changed it, but I thought about it.
What's the 12 seed, Corey's?
The 12 seed are Duke versus Oral Roberts.
Okay,
I'm glad you said it.
Is that like a Club Dread reference? St. Mary's versus VCU. Didn't think I'd ever make a Club Dread reference, but Miami and Drake, and San Diego State Charleston.
Ooh, I think the 5 that I think is going down is I think Charleston's going to get the win
over San Diego State.
Yeah. I think that's your 12-5. The closest of the 13 would be Kent State.
What about 7-10s? I love picking the 7-10 ones because I never get them right. Missouri versus Utah State.
Utah State.
Utah State's coached by like Dave Odom's son, by the way. If you remember him from Wake Forest days when he coaching Tim Duncan.
Yeah.
Wake
Forest maybe do a bracket shot.
Yeah,
I tore up my bracket, put it in a shot, and took the shot, and it was because Wake Forest busted my bracket.
Good grief, college is terrible.
Yeah, it is.
Are we on the 10-7 matchups?
Yeah.
Yes. Michigan State, USC. Yeah. I picked USC on that one. Boise, Northwestern. I picked Boise because.
Is Boise the 7 or the 10?
10.
Boise's the 10.
Northwestern is the 7?
Yeah.
Wasn't it like last year they broke their streak of not going to the NCAAs for like 50 years?
Yep.
Something like that. That's why they're going to lose in the first round. Yeah. A&M Penn State is the other. They're not Texas 8-4.
A&M is criminally underseeded for how good they are.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got them. They're the one team that I took a chance on. I got them making a run to the Elite Eight and losing to Houston, but I got them running to the Elite Eight.
I got them losing to Xavier, but
Texas and Texas A&M in the NCAA tournament. I want to see it. Make it happen. Both of you better not ruin this for me. Chalk will get there.
That would just be round 2. So Texas, as long as Texas beats Colgate and A&M beats Penn State, they'll play each other. Yeah, I didn't realize with the 7-10s, Texas A&M is the only 7 I took. I didn't mean to take all the 10s.
Yeah, I pretty much took all the 10s too.
Yeah.
Well, no, never mind. I did half. I took Missouri and A&M. I took the 2 SEC 7s. But yeah, I mean, I really went on a limb here and picked some sweet upsets. Like this bracket kind of sucks, like for upsets, because it's like
I don't know. Creighton and NC State, that's a 6-11 matchup. That could be.
I do have Iowa State going to the Sweet 16. I don't know why. I just do. I can't explain it.
I've actually, in my Final Four, or actually the Elite Eight matchup, on one side, I've got Miami playing Texas A&M.
I got NC State beating Creighton as an 11 seed.
That's the one I just said. That's an interesting game.
Yeah. So,
what if Kentucky beats Providence first round though?
Yeah, that would be bad. Yeah, so I just need chalk to happen, and I'll win the bracket pool.
I kind of need Auburn to lose. I'm sorry if you're an Auburn fan in the chat.
No, don't be.
Jake, I'm sorry. We need Auburn to lose.
Yeah, I agree.
I think Iowa has a good chance to upset them in the first round, actually.
Yeah.
Would it be an upset, though?
Isn't that like an 8-9 game?
It is.
Oh, yeah, you're right. It is 8-9 game. So I think Iowa will win the first round. That's what I mean.
Yeah. How do we get a Locked On SEC hat? Any merch? Well, we're not Locked On SEC. We're SEC After Dark. But if we – so, hey, Facebook user, whoever you are, if you can drum up a demand – hey, Cass, if you can drum up a demand for some merch, we can make it happen.
Sorry, popcorn.
Yeah, and also subscribe to the Y'all's Conference Network YouTube channel if you would.
Subscribe. Yeah, that's where we go.
And also subscribe to Corey's Bleav In Georgia Dawgs. Subscribe to Locked On Ole Miss. Subscribe to Type Talk Lives. That if you support all those channels, that'll start off and be a good way to help us out. We'd appreciate it.
I'm getting the views now. I just need the subscribers now.
Yeah. Yeah, go help Corey out.
Yo, what's up, Kason?
I don't care if you hate Georgia. Just go subscribe to my channel, please. So, yeah, that is a Georgia Bulldog.
Rebel. I think I saw his post on Rebel Nation. Appreciate it, man.
Hell yeah, Rebel Nation.
Mm-hmm. But
you the man, Rebel. It just doesn't show up. It just doesn't show up in the gold bar there.
Yeah. For some reason in Facebook, it doesn't. Yeah, it just doesn't show. Oh, okay. Wes Avent, I Bleav. Yeah.
Wes.
Yeah.
What's up, Wes?
Rebel Wes.
Sorry, this popcorn is good.
Yeah, if you drum up the demand, I would love to see what kind of merch designs we could have for SEC After Dark.
I know it would probably look a whole lot like that bug on the right side of the screen because that's what I've designed.
I'm talking about like not just the offshoot stuff, like the catchphrases and the
Yeah, we could just have a shirt that says, "I said that to say this."
Right? Yeah.
Playing devil's advocate here.
Yeah. Now hear me out.
And Jeb is just a guy.
Just a guy.
Just a guy.
Yes, sir.
No, Jeb, don't. No, we can have one that says, "Don't Google that."
Yeah, don't Google that.
I don't think the Georgia All Whites one would sell very well.
I think we need to Photoshop Jeb's face on the Commodore and put it on a shirt. That would be great.
I don't think that's funny. No.
God, that'd be awesome. Or get Steve's head on the old Mississippi State Bulldog.
You know what the amazing thing is? This is my favorite part about this whole setup. That'll never happen. Do you know why that'll never happen?
Because you're in charge.
Because I'm in charge.
Yeah, trolling all of our visuals here.
So yeah, we got Mr. Commodore for Jeb, and we got Albie for Jake, and we've got Buzz for Corey.
Dude, you got like 6 options for me. You could do Buzz. You could do.
I would always do Buzz. The one that would upset you is Buzz. So I'm going to do Buzz. I'm not going to do the Gators.
Actually, I hate the Gators more. I grew up in a Seminole family, by the way.
My favorite thing is what Georgia's mascots are named. They're like Albert Gator, and you can it's shortened down as Al
Gator.
E Gator, and then his girlfriend, the one that lives there, is named Allie Gator. Yeah, it's cute. Yeah, like Fortis does it right.
John said that's such a goofy looking is a perfect match.
John says we can have a picture of a train going off the rails.
That'd be fitting.
That would
just have a derailment. Fitting. Yeah.
Who are we? Ohio right now?
Oh.
Too soon, Jake. Too soon. Too soon.
Sorry.
Oh God.
Jeb, I asked earlier, but I need to know, what do you think the Vols will do this year in football, Wes?
I'm expecting pretty close to last year, honestly. The only question is, can Joe Milton take over at quarterback? And I know how much you know, but you got to admit he's looked a lot better, and I expect him to actually be pretty good this year.
I'm telling you,
put up big numbers.
Josh
I don't think
Heupel.
He'll be as
Josh Heupel has put it in where every one of his passes are 40 yards downfield.
Yep.
Yeah.
All good.
Yeah, we're all good.
We're
We're all
against
good.
Clemson. He's like, you know what? This dude is not throwing anything short. That's okay.
He can throw an orange 120 yards.
Yeah, and they
because that's
put
right.
up a 60 burger on Clemson. So.
No, I don't think they'll put up quite as much offense this coming year as they did last year, but I also think their defense will be better. So I don't know. I still not expecting them to win the SEC or anything. Don't get me wrong. I still think Georgia's better. Honestly, Alabama's probably and they're still better. Yeah, I get it. But
Georgia's going to come down to that quarterback situation. I mean, we got the weapons. We got
Alabama too.
The defense is going to be really, really good this year because it's a lot of guys coming back, and the experience and the communication and stuff will be a lot better. So,
I'm sorry, real quick, John just put on there is like, part of me wants to believe that Hooker was special, but I read that as like, part of me wants to believe that Hooker was special.
Because he didn't capitalize. He didn't.
Didn't capitalize. Well, John, congratulations, buddy. I mean, if she was from New Orleans, if she was from New Orleans, you need to probably go to the clinic.
No, and Hooker was special, but you got to remember Joe Milton has been in the system for 3 years.
Jake's gonna choke on his popcorn there. That popcorn good there, bud? What kind is it? What kind are you rocking with here?
It is called
9-3.
Jolly Time.
Okay.
Jolly
Cassidy,
Time popcorn.
how did y'all become Georgia fans? Because I enrolled at the University of Georgia as a student, and I worked for the football team. That's how. I still like Florida State. I still root for Florida State, but Georgia's my team now.
You know what? You know what I think my biggest misconception in college athletics is right now, and that is Georgia and its proximity to Atlanta means they should be good in basketball. And just tradition, it just hasn't happened in 40 years.
Yeah, because our athletic departments never gave a crap about basketball. They don't care about recruiting basketball. It's just to fill time between the end of football and spring practice.
Yep, that's the way we were.
Like it doesn't matter. So if Georgia ever decides, which I think they're starting to because they hired Mike White, they're starting to realize, hey, this can also be a profitable sport. Maybe they'll start recruiting better. They should. They better. It's 40 miles away, if that.
Did they have to pay rent to the gym dogs to use the Stegosaurus?
Yes. Well, actually, the gym dogs are horrible right now.
Oh, that's sad.
They're bad. The gym dogs are bad. They're one of the worst programs at Georgia.
Oh, that's upsetting.
And you know who the coach is? Probably the most decorated gymnast in Georgia history is the coach, and she's terrible. She had a sister. She had I think they were twin sisters.
I think a lot of people have sisters.
May the Yankees beat the Tigers tomorrow.
They play the Phillies.
I do hate the Phillies.
I do hate the Phillies.
But I got to see them play the Yankees, so I got to see the Yankees. Of course, none of the stars for the Yankees were playing because apparently they don't travel. Their stars don't have to travel in spring training. So,
welcome to Major League Baseball, Steve.
Yeah. But the Tigers, you get through there and by the way, the player that I'm most impressed with, and I came into this knowing absolutely nothing, is Spencer Torkelson.
That dude,
the Tigers signed that dude from Nicaragua.
Oh my goodness! Yes, the one with the changeup that struck out the three Dominican guys.
Yeah, the dude
just immediately signed him to a minor league deal. Yeah.
I saw that. I was like, Steve's good. It's like
I get to see it. A-ball's right up the road. I'm gonna be able to see him this year.
And did y'all see the Padres had a 16-year-old out there playing a spring training game that they had signed? Did y'all see that?
They signed a 16-year-old.
It was, I think he was from Venezuela or something like that.
Oh, well, so he's really 22.
Well, yeah.
I think Ole Miss's spring game is April 21st, Cassidy. It's somewhere in there.
I think Alabama's is too.
Florida State may be very, very overrated. But as long as Mike Norvell wears the gray hoodie, I think they'll be okay. They play Georgia Tech in Ireland next year, so I hope they start 1-0 at least.
Ole Miss has a baseball player named Kemp Alderman. I've told you all about him. He's the one that had the four hit balls over 110 miles an hour. Hit 118 the other day.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, just destroying baseballs.
Well, I mean, Kemp Alderman hitting one at 118 and Aaron Judge hitting one at 117 with a wood bat is pretty impressive. Aaron Judge is he's not human. I'm pretty sure.
And well, just he's in the same boat I think with Matt Trout. They're not going to win the championship. They're not going to win a championship when they're playing.
We'll never get one.
Never get one because you won't leave and go somewhere you need to.
You know, before we get out of here, you know, a funny story is like so many people think of the Yankees as like this elite franchise thing, the way they think of the Patriots. The generation before me thinks that, and the generation after me thinks that. But my generation, the Yankees weren't that good. They won some stuff after I got out of college with Derek Jeter, and they were good then.
Yeah, that was my generation where the Yankees became really good. They went on that tear from 96 to 03, and then they sucked again for a little while.
Yeah, my first 20 years, my formative years of following and knowing baseball, Yankees weren't crap.
Right.
It was just more about hearing how great they had been, you know.
Yeah. And you always heard the Murderers Row, Mickey Mantle,
26 World Championship.
Reggie Jackson, and it's like, well, all I know is they went 78 and 84, and
I grew up in the Mariano Rivera era.
Yeah, that was one of the greatest ever.
Mo Rivera, Andy Pettit, Roger Clemens, El Duque, Jeter, Alfonso Soriano, Paul O'Neill. I was very much not a Yankees fan.
Jorge Posada.
Posada was this very special.
Yeah, I once told Kurt. I was at a Philadelphia Phillies game and doing the color guard for the Navy in a pregame, and I wasn't paying attention to what I was doing. I had my head down. This is before cell phones, so I wasn't on my phone or anything like that. And I bumped into somebody, and I was like, "Hey, get the F out of my way!" And I looked up; it was Kirk Schilling. So that's
there you go.
That's one of my Phillies claims to fame.
Yeah.
But no, one of the reasons why I, fell in love with the Braves was watching Greg Maddux pitch was a work of art.
Yeah.
The guy never had a 3-1 count unless he was intentionally walking you.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with Facebook user. Give me a team full of Tony Gwynns and 3 Greg Maddoxes, and I'll beat you all day, every day.
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely. Just make sure
the Braves,
some of them
the Braves
are
had that
right-handers.
with the Braves had 2. They had Greg Maddux and Tom Glavine were essentially Tom Glavine was a left-handed version of Greg Maddux.
Mm-hmm. Did Tony Gwynn strike out over 100 times in his career? I mean,
I don't think so.
I don't think he did.
It was somebody came out with a stat and said
Tony
that
Gwynn was
like
ridiculous.
the strikeout leader in the American League had 200 and the strikeout leader in the National League had 197. Tony Gwynn had like 188 strikeouts in the 90s.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the guy could just rake. He could hit anything. It didn't matter where the pitch was. I think he touched every part of fair territory with a baseball.
And the funny thing is, that's the way that people were taught to hit back then. Like Tony Gwynn was just a reincarnated Rod Carew. Rod Carew could do the same stuff.
Right.
I mean, it was actually fairly normal, but the fact that it isn't now is the reason it's a story. Well, Tony Gwynn was just a good hitter in our area, a good average, real similar to like Wade Boggs, those guys. And I mean, that was just ho-hum. We took him for granted because that's the way the game was played back then. Now,
they weren't flashy.
He's superhuman.
But you couldn't get him out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't get it. Like, even Greg Maddux was like, I hate facing this guy because I can't get him out.
Yeah,
right.
the one thing that you didn't want to have happen with Tony Gwynn coming to bat is a runner on second and third, because you knew then you were just screwed.
That was just a run. I mean, you're just like, all right, they're going to score a run here.
If first base is open, just walk him.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely here. But I mentioned on our show over the last couple of weeks. The one thing that's fun about this pitch clock and the new rules in baseball is the run game has started back up in Major League Baseball. Yeah. And it's starting to look a little bit more like baseball used to look. Now, once we get into the regular season, it could regress back to the mean a little bit. because spring training's obviously for experimenting, but at least in spring training, it has looked a little bit like the baseball that I remember and not so much what it was last year and the last few years.
Or just bomb city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think more action will actually do wonders for baseball and making it, and the pitch clock making the game shorter will also draw some fans in.
All right, Corey, get us out of here. I got jury duty tomorrow morning, so.
Jury
have
duty.
fun.
Yeah.
Steve. Yeah. So we are SEC After Dark, presented by BetOnline.ag and Row One brand Dogs 20. Go get your vintage art watch. But that's going to do it for us this week. We'll see you back here next week with more fun and off the rails. For Steve, Jeb, and Jake, I'm Corey. We hope you have a great week, and we'll see you back here. But until then, go Dogs.
Hotty toddy.
Roll Tide.
Go Vols.
Go win that natty.
Go Big Orange.
3-peat, baby. 3-peat. 3-peat's on.
Go Big Orange.
VOLSVOLS. Go, Vols, go.
Yes. I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence.